Hello, welcome to the Bible Takeaway, where you can expect to snack on the who, what and when of a particular Bible filling. For dessert, you have an option of a few quiz questions to help your digestion of the content. This is a Bible summary of Esther. Esther has 10 chapters. They are all set during the Israelites' return from exile in Babylon. So what to expect in Esther? Well, it's the story of a young girl's courage in a time of crisis after the exile in Babylon. Haman sets out to destroy the Jews, but his plan spectacularly backfires. The key people in Esther are Esther, our heroine, Mordecai, her wise uncle, Xerxes, the king, and Haman, the villain. For a key passage, try Esther chapter 4, verses 12 to 14. So they told Mordecai Esther's words, and Mordecai told them to answer Esther. Do not think in your heart that you will escape in the king's palace any more than all the other Jews. For if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? In summary, chapter 2 is where Mordecai raises Esther. She is taken into the king's harem and is chosen as queen. Mordecai tells Esther of a plot against the king. In chapter 3, Xerxes promotes Haman, but Mordecai will not bow to him. Haman asks to destroy the Jews. The king gives his seal for the decree. In chapter 4, Mordecai asks Esther to plead with the king. Esther says, "Hold her fast. I will go to the king against the law, and if I die, I die." In chapter 5, Esther wins favour with the king. She says, "Let the king and Haman come to a feast tomorrow." Haman builds a gallows to hang Mordecai. In chapter 6, that night the king reads about a plot against him. Haman comes to ask about hanging Mordecai. The king tells Haman to honour Mordecai. In chapter 7, at the feast, the king asks Esther, "What is your request?" She says, "My people have been sold by Haman." The king has Haman hanged. In chapter 8, the king gives his ring to Mordecai. Mordecai sends letters to the provinces allowing the Jews to defend themselves. The Jews rejoice. In chapter 9, on the day of the king's decree, the Jews destroy their enemies. Mordecai writes to all the Jews and establishes the Feast of Purim. So what's the takeaway from Esther? Or maybe God has a special purpose for you in your school, your workplace, your position in the world. Do you have the courage to fulfill it? And now a quick quiz. Question 1. Who raised Esther? Question 2. Who wanted to destroy the Jews? Question 3. Without Esther's actions, how would Mordecai have died? And question 4. Why did Haman suffer from his own evil intentions? Question 5. What significant object was given to Mordecai? Question 6. Which festival was established after this? Question 7. Looking at the letters below, what is a key word from this book? And the answers. Question 1. It was Mordecai that raised Esther. And Haman wanted to destroy the Jews. Mordecai would have been hanged if it were not for Esther's actions. And Haman was executed because he sold the Jews. Question 5. Mordecai received the king's ring. And the Jews celebrate the Feast of Purim. And Esther showed courage to act as she did. And there you go. If you have a different takeaway or a personal favourite key passage, please feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, goodbye and God bless.